Oh. Time is now 3:54 at the airport. It is Monday morning. 3:54. Yep, and I've got roughly about 300 on. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. I've been busy. I was busy until I guess it was 2 o'clock, non-stop. Then at 2 o'clock, I had a break for about an hour. And then at 3, I had a call that woke me up. I was being sent to a gas station and convenience store kind of thing. These two people got in, these two kids got in, and they just went up the road. They went up the highway a ways. And before we got to their exit, the meter was clicking over about $11. And they said, all we have is $10. Well, by the time I got off the exit, it was 13 on the meter and all they had was $10. That's when I got sent on this call that took me to the airport. It was 58, I think, on the meter, or anyway, I got 62, something like that. So it was a busy night to start my week, and I did not enjoy that at all. One right after another. As soon as you drop one off, it's another call. I don't like working that way. I like to take breaks. At least I got that opportunity to sleep, because I didn't sleep enough in the daytime. Anyways, 4 more nights to go this week. The Monday night, I was driving non-stop from 7 till 2, and at 2 o'clock I was so exhausted that when I started to watch some video on my phone, I fell asleep. I was awakened at 3 o'clock or so for a trip. I did that trip, and I was awakened again at 4 o'clock, but it was a no-load. There was nobody there. I was again awakened at 5 to do a little trip, and I did that little trip, and then I turned the heat way up because it's getting cold out there. It was 8 degrees this morning, and I went to the car wash and washed the car, but before getting there I turned the heat way up so I'd be really warm. And then I got out and washed the car, and it was a busy night. It was just busy. I didn't count the money. It must be around $400 or so. And now I'm got to get out there again and go to the chiropractors. Yeah. So for that, I'm going to do one more thing. I don't have a lot of natural head covering anymore, so I got to do this kind of thing. There. Now I'm ready to walk to the chiropractor's office. Time is now 5:23 a.m. on a Wednesday morning. I went through a very busy Tuesday night. I did not stop driving between 6:30 and 1 o'clock in the morning. Non-stop. As soon as I drop off, I get another call. And because we're short-staffed, we don't have enough drivers, sometimes the next call would be quite a distance away, pissing me off completely. Making me drive and drive and drive and drive and concentrate and drive and concentrate and drive and not have a break to relax for a moment. It was just too much. And suddenly at around 1 o'clock it stopped. I had a break until 3. I was asleep the whole time, as far as I can guess. Then, just after 3, I got a call. I did that one. And then I had another break for half an hour or so, and then I got another call. And since I got that other call, just before 4 o'clock, I've been driving again non-stop. Now it's 5:24, it's half an hour till the end of my shift, and I'll probably get another couple calls between now and then. Instead of the shut-eye I really need, because I didn't sleep enough yesterday. Oh, this one pissed me off the most. Just every time I would get to my favorite spot to relax for a few minutes, it would beep again at me, and I got to the point where I was cursing and screaming every time I'd get a call, because it was just too much stress, just too much driving, just too much. I know people would argue, well, you're a cab driver, that's your job. Yeah, but you know what? The conditions are ridiculous. We are short-staffed. We need more drivers. It's just, it never used to be this way. And I've been doing this for 30 years, and it never used to be this way. The only time it would be this way would be like a New Year's Eve or something like that. Or Canada Day, or Halloween. Don't beep at me again. What? Well, that's too far away. I'm not going. I'm just not going. Not going. You can't make me. Fuck right off. Can you tell I'm not having a good time? I think I might be coming down with a cold too. Good thing I still have some Neocitrin at home. I'm just gonna take that. I hope the next 2 nights are a little slower and not such a ridiculous pace. Airport, 3:36 a.m. on Thursday. I was just sitting at my favorite spot, basically, and I got sent halfway up the peninsula, very close to Stellies Crossroad, to pick somebody up and bring them here. It was basically a $20 fare, so it didn't pay that well. The pace was a little more relaxed than Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday nights. The Wednesday night pace was more relaxed, which is good because, you know, the way I was working, after counting all the money, Sunday night and Monday night were both $500 nights. Tuesday was a $400 night. Now Wednesday I got about 330 on, and I still got 2.5 hours to go till the end of my shift, and I don't have to worry about Mr. what did I usually call him? The guy who's always on time. Mr. Punctual. Yeah. Don't have to worry about him today, because it's Adrian's turn. Adrian's the guy who owns the car. All I have to do is work another couple hours and wash the car and detail the interior and fuel it and park it. I will probably not be going to the bank because I don't have that much cash. Most of my business was Interac tonight. And besides, I need the money. I need the cash for getting groceries Friday morning. I've got to do the groceries Friday morning because Friday night or Friday evening I will be going to do the laundry. I got 5 weeks of laundry piled up. So once every 5 weeks I just chuck 3 great big tote boxes in my hatchback with the seat folded down and go to the laundromat. Maybe I'll get a nice break and get to watch some more video. That would be nice. I've watched everything that I'm subscribed to, and so now I'm going through my old watch later lists to see what I saved years ago to watch later. That's about it. One more night to go. Can't wait for it to be over. I almost forgot about this one. It happened a couple days ago. I got sent to the Victoria General Hospital to pick up a customer. And I got there and picked her up. And we had a pleasant chat when I took her to her hotel. Her granddaughter was going through seizures and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with her. But anyway, she's been in the hospital for a few days. Anyway, this woman goes back to her hotel. And then a little while later, I get asked to check the back seat for a lost phone, which I don't find. And I did a couple more fares, and then I got called back to the hotel where that woman where I took her from the hospital. And she said, "We have to go back to the hospital. I need to find my phone." And I said, "Yeah, well, I got the message that to look for it, but I couldn't find it in here." And so we went back to where I picked her up, and on the bench where she had been sitting like 2 hours earlier, she had found her phone. That was amazing. Even though it's at night, you would think that somebody would come along and find the phone. You would think so, but no. Nobody went by the bench, nobody sat on the bench, nobody looked, nobody found the phone until she came back to get it. That was kind of miraculous. I was sent to the Uptown Mall to go pick someone up at Brown's Social House. Brown's Social House is kind of like a chain restaurant, sort of like a sports restaurant. And I got there and I didn't see anyone around. But then this guy comes up from behind and gets in the cab and says, "My friend's just around the corner there. Let's go pick him up." So, okay. We went to pick up his friend. And just as after the guy gets in the car, we see 2 police cars pulling into the parking lot, like almost hitting me. But we leave and we go through Uptown is a convoluted maze, and we wanted to go out the other side so that we could go towards where the guys told me they were going to. We didn't get 2 blocks, and then I saw nothing but red and blue flashing lights in my mirrors, so I stopped. And the police were accusing, or the police wanted my passengers to get out of the car, and the passengers were kind of refusing. They didn't want to get out, but the cops got them to get out, and they were going to charge one with here's what happened. They were in the parking lot in their car. One was sitting in the driver's seat, one was sitting in the passenger seat. This was before they called me. And some security guard, and I know the security guards at that place are just, they're bored and they'll do anything to pick on you. So apparently the security guard threatened to call the cops because the guy in the driver's seat had been drinking, but he said that he was charging his phone. He wasn't driving, so the security guard got a video of the guy sitting in his car. That's all he got. But anyway, they were being charged, and the one who was more sober and more reasonable paid for the cab, and I left. But I got sent to pick them up again. After the cops had gone away, those guys were standing on the side of the street, and I went to pick them up again because I got sent there. So the 2 guys had got out of the car when the security guard had taken the video of the guy sitting in the car. They got in the cab, and they were going home when we got stopped by the cops. And so obviously the security guard called the cops to go get these 2 guys. Well, apparently the way the law is written, if you're sitting in the driver's seat with the keys in your possession, you have an intention to drive, so you can be stopped, even though you haven't driven at all, which I think is ridiculous. If you're sitting in the car and you haven't driven it, that shouldn't be admissible. He's just sitting in the car, apparently charging his phone, and then they called a cab, and then I came and picked him up. So now I ended up taking one of them out to Gordon Head. I'm trying to see the traffic light there. I ended up taking both of those guys from after the cops had dealt with them. And I took one of them home, and the other one wanted to go back to his car because he didn't have his cell phone on him. So we went all the way back to Uptown from Gordon Head, and there was a tow truck hooking up his car. The tow truck driver was hooking up the car, and as soon as this guy got out of this cab, the tow truck driver said, I guess you want your phone, don't you? Yeah, so he got his phone, and then I drove him home. The total fare was pretty high. It was like $55. And I forgot to shut the meter off because I was so excited about recording this little segment on a Friday morning. The time is now 3:14. I've got, I don't know, maybe $300 on. It was a more relaxing night tonight. It was more easygoing. I had a lot of opportunity to watch videos, but I did not go to sleep. Or I almost got to sleep once. I was kind of nodding off at one point, and then I got sent on a call. Anyway. Oh wow, this is funny. I have my interior lights on, and the RCMP just went past me. Apparently, interior lights are illegal. The light that's shining my face. But he didn't stop me. Hey, it's not a handheld device. It's just a light. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, so the RCMP went right past me. I don't even know how fast I'm going. I can't even tell. Let's have a look. Oh, 79, perfect. I'm right at the speed limit. And it's funny because the phone is right in front of the Speedo. The phone is right in front of the Speedo. And I had my high beams on too. And the RCMP went right past me. You know, it's true. They don't care anymore. They don't pester us. It's not like they used to 30 years ago. When I first got here, they used to pester us for every little thing. But now, they just let us go. Well, if anything exciting happens between now and 6, I'll make another segment. Other than that, I hope yours is better than mine. I tell you, it's a night of weirdness. I fell asleep watching a movie on my phone. And since I'm watching my watch later, it showed me the next movie. And I was halfway through the next movie already. Doesn't matter, it's all old films from like the 1940s and stuff. Here's the weirdness. I got sent to a homeless shelter, and there was one of those homeless guys there, and there was this little old lady with, she had like 6 or 7 hats on, and she had a suitcase, and she was dressed in colorful clothing. She had been in Mexico for the last 3 or 4 years, and she got stuck down there because of COVID, apparently, and it took her this long to get back home to Victoria, and now she's trying to find a place to stay. She was on her way to Denny's, but Denny's isn't open 24 hours anymore. And I took her to the only Tim Hortons left in town that stays open 24 hours, because that's where she wanted to go. That's not too strange, even though she was really out of place coming from that homeless shelter. The true weirdness is she asked me, "What do I owe you?" I said $7.80. And she pulls out 100 and says, "Here, have 100. I said, "Well, you don't want any change on that?" She says, "No, you helped me out. You found me a place where I could go. So here's 100. What is going on tonight? Oh, I tell you. Hour and a half to go. Now I just dropped off at the airport here. The time is now 5:05. 5:05 a.m. on Friday. And I will be back in town at about 5:25. I've got $440 on, and I got a message on the phone. I will look at that message after I've recorded this bit. Anyway, I've told you about the night, a couple of segments in the morning, how things were. And then I was just watching an old movie once again, and I got sent to a building on the gorge. And so I went to the gorge, and the guy ended up going to the airport. $56.50 on the meter, and he gave me $65 on Interac. So I've done well. I've done very well tonight, considering how much I worked. That $93 tip sure helped. I hope yours is better than mine.